Hi team members, I am Scott with Pioneer Vintage Trailer, and we had customized this Airstream for you guys. So I want to do a video and go around and show you how to operate everything. I know we get these trailers in here quite a bit doing repairs. I think just, not knowing, how to operate certain things like that, hopefully we can prevent some of these damages. So first I'm going to start with the cord. So you got a cord here. You got 3 prongs. You got one that's in an L shape. So if you look here, there's one that's an L shape. So you just line them up and push it in. Sometimes you got to wiggle it to get it in there. It's a tight fit, and then you're just going to turn it to the right a little bit. So there we have powered up the trailer now. This here is if you want to run the faucet, basically the water system. This would be where you would hook up a hose if you have that option where you're setting up at. So that's just a little cap that protects the threads. And then up here, this is the freshwater fill. So if you do not have a garden hose to supply water pressure to the trailer, you can fill this up with water. There's a holding tank underneath the trailer. That thing does just come out, so you could either just pull it out like that or pull it completely out. So there's a tank in there. You'll stick your garden hose in there and you'll fill that tank up with water. Then once we go inside, I'll show you where the switch for the pump is to supply water pressure to the trailer then. This here is the furnace. This is the intake and exhaust. There's nothing you should have to do in there. So you've got 3 keys. One works the deadbolt here. One works this lock, which I usually don't mess with it. This is the original lock. They can be a bear to work with because they get worn. Sometimes they don't want to operate right. So if you just use the deadbolt, that would be fine. And then the other bigger key on here works the compartment doors, which really there's no need to do that because there's nothing in here. They just open up into the trailer. So, that's just the back side of the tank, so there's nothing to see or get into. So to operate the step, it's pretty simple. You just pull it towards you, and then to take it out, there's a handle here, you just pull it out. It comes out, locks in. You're good. Operate the screen door. There's a catch here. You just release it. There's the screen door. And that becomes your handle. But when you attach it back to the door, just push that in, around. There's a magnet. And now you can attach it back to the door. And when you close the door, another issue with these older locks is you can't just shut the door because the mechanism is warped. So I usually pull the handle out and then push the door in and release the handle. And see, now it latched. See, it won't come open. So you have to work with these older trailers a bit. So up here in the propane system, this is what runs the furnace. So if you're setting up somewhere cold, you're going to want to come up here and turn both tanks all the way on, open the valves up so they're tight. Up here is the regulator. Now when you have pressure, you will see that regulator turn green. When you don't have pressure, it'll turn red. So that means you either need to, there's an arrow on this dial, so that arrow is pointing to this tank. So if this turns red, flip it over to the other tank, then it should turn green if you've got pressure. And if not, then both tanks are empty. And all you do is you unscrew this up here at the top. It'll release this hold down. You can simply shut the tank off and take the valve off. You can take the tank off and go get it refilled. These are new valves on here. You can go anywhere and have them filled. You won't have any issues with the tanks being out of date. They're all certified. They'll be good for 10 years. So up top, we have installed a permanent sign. So that front plexiglass, there are 6 latches. So to replace the bulbs, you have to go up there, release the latches. That front cover folds down, and then you can just change the bulbs out and then put it back. It is a weather-tight seal up there. It's permanent. You don't have to climb up there anymore to take it down. So that was an improvement we made. So to work the awning, you want to pause it for a second? Oh, wait a second. Keep it going, Steve. I'll look for the awning rod to show you how to operate that. So inside we have one switch here that works these center lights, and on the side is a little knob that is a dimmer, so you can dim these down. This is the thermostat for the air conditioner only, this one here. This is the thermostat for the furnace. So once you have the gas on, the trailer is plugged in. There's a little on-off switch here. All you do is you flip that, and then you'll hear the furnace kick on. There's another knob down here that adjusts the temperature, and then this tells you what the actual temperature is in the trailer. So we're going to go ahead and shut that off. This is easy to operate, on-off switch here. You'll make sure it's on cool, and then you can adjust your temperature accordingly for the air conditioner. This switch runs the lights for the end caps. That is not on a dimmer. This switch up here is for the sign, the lights on the sign. So it is on right now. This one also operates on a dimmer. So if you need to dim it down, you just move the switch accordingly. So, in here, if you want hot water, you want to come around the other side, and the door opens the opposite way. So down here, if you want hot water, you got to make sure you have water pressure, and when you hook up the city water or the freshwater tank, there's a switch right here that runs the water pump, and if you flip that, you will hear the water pump is right here. You will hear that kick on. So once you turn that on, you want to open up the faucets and bleed out all the water in the system, or all the air in the system, until you have a good stream of water on the hot and cold side. And once you've done that, then you know you have this water tank filled with water. So you can now turn the switch on, and that will give you, and it takes a little bit to warm up. That'll give you the hot water. So down here you've got the DC fuse panel, which you really should not have to mess with any of that. We got the converter and the water pump, the furnace, water heater, this is the ductwork, and down in this hole there are valves for draining the freshwater tank. So if you're putting water in out there and you hear it running underneath the trailer, you have to come in here and turn that valve to keep the water from coming back out of the tank, because that is the drain for the tank. To release the hatch, pretty simple. Got these carabiners, one on each side. You'll give the handle a little tug, you'll push the handle, latch it. I always put the carabiner back in so we don't lose it. This one's a little tight, but you can certainly operate it. And just give it a push, it'll open. This switch here operates the lights in the hatch. And of course your kegerator, I'm sure you're versed on how to use that. Alright, I think that pretty well does it. Wanted to show you the switches and how to operate that stuff. Alright, thank you very much.